The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by SIDEBAR, its guests, callers, and advisors are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR, a 103.5 The Beat podcast, is a production of IlTV Studios and may not be reproduced or represented, in part or in its entirety, without the express written consent of Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR is the intellectual property of Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
Welcome to SIDEBAR 103 The Beat podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and today we have with us Naomi Lydia, founder of Native Travel.
Yes.
It is a tour company.
It is. Destination management.
Right. Sorry, what?
Destination management. Concierge.
Right. So the first time that I heard about it, I was like, you mean like the people who's booked your flights for things? That's what I first thought it was. And then it was explained to me that it's not that.
Correct.
It is. Well, we're going to dive into that because I would like to explore what it is all about, what's the importance of the business and the ways that, because it's not just for tourists, it's also for locals as well.
It is.
But before we get to that, I'm going to ask you the question that for some reason confused you before we started. Why do tours? Like what was the impetus? What would draw you to that?
Why do tours? As you said, I was truly confused. But the thing with that is, why not? When I came on island and I were going around in regards to like talking to different guests, of course I've been in hospitality for years. The thing is, a lot of people were saying, I wish this was available to us. I wish I had a tour that just does this. And then when I thought about it, I always think about, what can I do different? What should I do? And how can I put something together to make it easier for guests that are coming on the island? So that's how I got into creating tours specifically for the needs of people traveling in. So that's how I got into tours and experiences.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you say experiences, so the question that I had about the business itself, is it, because there are some tours where you see historic locations and things like that, and then there are some tours where it's like, it's a walking tour, it's interactive, you eat here, you do this. What is your specialty? Is it more cultural? Is it more historical? What is it?
It's actually that and more. So we do have cultural experiences or cultural tours. Want to give you exact specifics. We work closely with the cruise port. So we have tours that we pick up guests and we take them around. So they do places like Atlantis, the Queen's Staircase, the Fort Charlotte, the Fort Finn Castle, and we tell them about the history, a part of that. And really and truly, history and culture goes in hand. You can't give people a history tour without letting them understand the culture of the people, the culture of the entirely. So those go hand in hand, but outside of that, we do other experiences and adventures. So those tours would be tours like the jet ski tours. Those tours would be the parasailing tours. And then we also have tours that extend further than that and Nassau itself, and we extend into tours that go to Exuma. So you get to some of the sharks. Of course, everyone loves the pigs. And then we have tours that do Harbor Island, and then from Harbor Island, you do Eleuthera. So those are quite a bit of tours, but then in different areas in a sense, or different, I guess, when it comes down to culture, then you get the history, then you get adventure. So they go and they fall in different areas depending on what you like.
Which one, how do you get from New Providence to doing tours on other islands? Was it an issue? Was it that you were trying to supplement New Providence, or was it like, were you looking at it and saying, I want to show people more of the Bahamian experience, or was it simply just like, let's add this to the portfolio?
Most definitely. A lot of people actually, believe it or not, the guests brought it to me, and I'm like the fix. I like fixing things. I like to make things happen. I like misfix it in a sense. So automatically, guests was like, hey, we're coming to the island. We're staying for 5-6 days. Is it possible that we can visit another island? And I said, okay. And then those tours, Exuma, Eleuthera, Harbor Island, those are tours and services already being offered. Because I worked in the industry, I knew what they were. So I started to bring that forward to my guests. So that's how we got into expanding to the islands, because guests, every guest is different, right? We have some guests that come with family and friends. We have guests that come with significant others. And then we have the adventure junkies that want to, do multiple as much as they can in the country. So that's how we got into the Exuma, Eleuthero, Harbor Island, expanding to those islands for those guests that wanted to do, because everybody wants to do the sharks. When you hear the Bahamas, you hear the pigs and the sharks. No?
I've never wanted to do the sharks,
No.
but continue.
I neither did I until I actually did it. And I was like, I should do this again. It was an amazing experience, honestly.
Do you do the sharks in New Providence, or you?
So the sharks are only currently now in Exuma.
Okay.
So they're in Exuma. They're a part of a package deal with a few vendors that we currently use. So you get to do the sharks, the pigs, the iguanas, the sandbar. Quite a bit of experiences, actually.
So how do you guys get there? Because that's
so you can go on boat. So it's actually only by boat, about an hour and a half going, and then the same thing coming back. So about 2-3 hours in travel. But once you get there, everything is like from location to next, because Exuma Keys.
Right.
So they have multiple keys. So you get to go to Black Point for lunch. You get to go to Staniel. You get to go to Sandbar in the middle of the ocean. So it's multiple keys together that you'll be able to go to. So just by boat, you leave by 7:30, 8 o'clock. You're already in transit. And by 5 o'clock, you're already back. So it's like a day trip. Mm-hmm. So you get to go in the morning, come back by the evening.
Sounds very things that you see on girls' Instagram pages.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to dive in deeper into what is the thing that you're most passionate about that you'd want persons to know about. Okay. So we're going to do that when we come back. You are watching and listening to Sidebar 103 podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Lock Sportsbook.
Welcome back to Sidebar 103 The Beat podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, today with Naomi Lydia, and we are talking about tours and the general experience, right? When I was a kid, I'm not going to presume that me and you are the same age, right? But when I was a kid, you'd hear a person saying the Bahamas is sun, sand, and sea. what is why was that not enough for you? Because you said that you worked in the hospitality industry, right? For a lot of persons, we just leave it at that. For you, what was the reason why you said we need to add more to this package?
For me, what it was I've been in the industry straight out of high school. I'm a person, I'm I love to always be busy. So the thing with that is being in the hospitality so long and you continue to hear the same complaints or the same issues at hand. I just wanted to do something to be different. I wanted to do something more. That's the reason why I got into tours and experiences. And the thing is, being in the resort, I was able to do it. I was doing it for fun on a personal level because, of course, after you become and you have a relationship with guests, they say, hey, Naomi, I'm coming back. What can we do? And then I always just say, hey, okay, this. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what, Naomi, let's find a way for you to be able to take this passion and monetize it. That's how we got into doing what we do now and doing tours and experiences. Because I wanted more and I wanted to give more. When you come to the Bahamas, you have so much different competitors now. I wanted to be able to give people that and more when they come to the Bahamas, not just that resort experience, hence the name Native Travel. I wanted people to be able to feel as if they're traveling with their cousin, their sister, their friend, where they get the honest truth of the island, you go to the fish fry and relax, and you go outside of the resort. You wanted to, feel comfortable and feel safe and know that you're with someone that's going to truly give you that native experience. So that's how we got into that.
You mentioned, I was going to bring it up later, but you mentioned safety, all right? So I have two questions on that.
Okay, sure.
All right, so the first question is when I see, I don't know about you, right?
Okay,
as a
go ahead.
Bahamian, right? There have been times where you are in a random place and you're like, babe, why is this tourist through this corner? Like, there was a specific time where I think I was in Coconut Grove and the people is like, when I say every couple of people who the person passing, like, where you go? You okay?
You okay? Is it okay?
Yeah.
That's what I tell my guests. That's exactly what I tell my guests.
Right. And so it's like there are times where persons they're anxious of their own surroundings. They live here, but they're like, I don't think you're supposed to be here or whatever, right? And then it feels almost as though any place past Government House, persons are apprehensive about tourists being that far out, right? Is this a concern for you? How do you address this concern? Because it's difficult to just keep everything inside that downtown area.
Yeah, for sure. Well, every guest is different, right? Hence me providing the service that I do and the experiences we do, because we've learned already that every guest wants something different, because we have those guests that say, hey, I've been here before, I don't want to touristy spots. Can you take me where the locals are? I want to see homes. I want to see people homes. I want to see celebrity homes. Like, what do you have celebrities that live here? That's the questions that they ask. And that's when we coordinate and create tours for them. For me personally, I don't have an issue with them seeing the island itself, because, what is history? What is culture? Unless you know the true island itself. So we have different, I put it in class, right? So we have different classes in a sense. And I guess I don't want them to only see, like, taking them to Coconut Grove or taking them into Camp Road or particular areas, whereas you'd be like, their assumption is, because I want you to believe, a lot of people think, we still live in huts and we have little skirts and we run around the island barefoot. That's definitely not the case. So what we do is we start off, depending on what part of the island or which island you to, right? So we do, I had a particular guest in mind that I'm thinking of, two ladies. One was, they were limited in transportation in regards to their handicap, and they wanted to see the island. They actually booked me for 2 days. 1, to see the touristic spots, and then 2, to see the island itself. So we started off, because they came from the western area, we started off seeing the homes just in the Cable Beach area, so people can see the different standards of homes there, right? So we did those areas. We did lunch in those areas as well. We came down and showed them different communities. So we show them the Gladstone Road homes, or going through the corners so they can see how different homes are. And because, usually they have an apartment complex. So they were like stunned to see a duplex. And the fourplex, like, oh, this is how your apartments are. I was like, we have different standards of apartment. So we rode through, and then we did the Eastern Road. To the Eastern Road of Anna Nicole Smith's home, things like that. So they're able to see the different homes in different areas. So they can kind of get a focus of the island. That so itself is 21 miles. super small island itself. So it's easy to do it within an hour and a half. And so guests are able to see the homes, and they're like, they want to come out and take pictures. And I don't know if you ever drove on the Eastern Road. You see they have a lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
For them, they're like stunned. And I always let them say, we're at the end of the island. You're riding the edge. They come out by that almost like that slow bend.
Right.
And we come out, we take pictures, and they're just like in awe. For us, we see it every day, and it may not be as amazing because we grew up seeing it.
Right.
But for guests that haven't seen this or can't even imagine what the end of their state looks like, you can literally see the end of the island or the edge of the island in a sense, and they are like blown away for every time, and they love to go out in different areas. And I always tell them that safety is definitely 100% something that they are concerned about. But as I said, I familiarize myself with different people, different communities, different areas. So most time when they see my car, they see my taxi, things like that, they already know what we're doing. And they actually come out, they talk to the guests, they say, hey, it's safe, let's come on. And they walk with them. That's why we do the guided tours. Mm-hmm. So we're physically with them, and we go to the little mom and pop stores and grab a gourmet soda or champagne or get a hot patty. I want them to be able to experience, different stores and different communities. So that's what we do. And they feel like they're part of something special. They love to do it.
Right. Now, the part of it is also the general aesthetic of New Providence. Now, I know on one hand, it's so, I'm torn, right? And I think that it's one of those things where we need to figure out as a people, which
Mm-hmm.
direction we leaning in. Because on one hand, we ain't hungry and we ain't thirsty.
Yeah.
And we don't want nobody to think we broke or whatever, right? But at the same time, there is massive dilapidation happening all over the place. And oddly enough, in the places with the highest real estate value in the country, personally, I think that it is a crime. I think that the government should should take eminent domain, whatever term you want to
100%.
get, of everything on Bay Street that has been abandoned. Like, you can't have an $8 million piece of property and you're just sitting on it because you know it's worth so much. At some point, somebody could either rent it or buy it from you, whatever, and you're not doing anything with it, right? But that's a whole different
topic, a whole different day.
Right.
Most
right?
definitely. Yeah.
Right, because it's very simple, actually. It's very, because all you can do is you tax them a different tax for not using it. You don't tax them for using it.
I just know something needs to be done. It is very difficult.
If you tax them for not using it, then they'll use it and it'll be fine. But if right now, if they just have it there and there's no penalty, because you could charge them real property tax, but they ain't gonna pay it. Some of them don't even live there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
That's not the point. So you have in places like, I think it's Brazil with the favelas. Anyway, you have these different countries where persons go there and they want to see the tin roof huts and the multicolored places or whatever, right? And so whereas, these people might not have electricity, they might have to walk for water, they don't have running water inside their homes or whatever, but that's part of the aesthetic of the allure, right? I don't think that is what Bahamians want to be associated with them. They don't want to be seen as that, we at the bottom of the totem pole and look how poor we is as a spectacle.
Agreed.
Which is fine. How do you balance that with it's New Providence, right?
Yeah.
It's like there are places where the clapboard houses sometimes are not the ones that are in the worst state of repair. It is sometimes the middle class homes that have fallen because they don't have any more money or whatever.
Right.
How do you balance your tours, particularly inside the Bay Street area, where it's like, do you not pass Victoria? It's a Victoria Avenue. Do you not go that far east? Or you say, hey, let's go up and then come back around.
You're right. So most of us, the tours are guided. It all depends on what the guest is. We have packages that stick with that area. So we are in that downtown. We're in that the Paradise Island. We don't come out of a certain area. But we stay in the dynamics of the diaphragm that we had to set for ourselves, so that guests can see that particular area. And as I said, most of them are limited with time, so we let them stay within that time or that area. But we do have guests, and we don't like to limit them. We do have guests that do ask. So it is, you can't show something that isn't there, or you can't make something more to it than it is. So we just I live on transparency. I live on honesty. That's why when we do the tours, and I know a lot of people it's a two-edged sword, because some people don't want you to come in certain communities and they don't want you to see certain areas, versus other persons were like, you know, as you said, it in regards to being associated with that look.
Yeah.
But that's what the homes are. That's what the areas are. Now, what I do specify when it comes down to guests, I explain to them, you know, some of these homes are, you know, generational properties, so on and so forth, in regards to, you know, certain class of people live here. In regards to, when I say class of people, I mean in regards to not everybody that lives in this community is Bahamians per se, believe it or not. So I have to explain to them, because even on to guests always ask, like, look at this guy. I remember a specific time that we were going, we were actually coming from Paradise Island Bridge, and we went on we were going on to Shirley, and they had a lady like carrying things on her head, and the guest was like, oh my God, Naomi, that's how you carry things? And then I had to like explain to like take it back and be like, okay, so this is a different nationality, this is what they do. Unfortunately, we don't carry stuff on our head and take it for miles. And it was huge. It was a basket of something. And then they were like selling a bunch of stuff, and they were asking like, oh, can we take a picture of the lady on the side of the road who's selling like peanuts and stuff? I was like, oh, you know, and they have questions. Right. And you have to be transparent, you have to be honest, because the Bahamas itself is very diverse. It's a very, very diverse island. And I think that's where guests are confused, because it's a different cultures and different spaces. Right, and they don't know. And they don't know what it is. They just write it off as these are Bahamians, right? So if anybody knows me, knows that I'm very transparent, very honest. I let them know, like, hey, this is that. This is this class of people. This is what this culture. It's different. You know, we're very diverse people. The Bahamas, we have a lot of different cultures that are merged. So that's what you're looking at. This is what that is, because they have a lot of questions. So that's just be honest. That's how we address that, right? Yeah. Because that's why we do every area in a sense, instead of limiting them just in the downtown. And that's only for guests that want to dive deeper. And that's where we tap into understanding and letting them understand the culture, let them understand the people, what we do, what we don't do, things like that, just so they can understand the Bahamas more. Because people are very, very curious and they have a lot of questions. So that's how we tap into that in regards, or address that in a sense. So that's what we do. I mean, and yeah, with everywhere you go, there's something. But the other part of it would then be, I heard you mention you take them on tours like taxiing and things like that. Mm-hmm. But the other part with safety would also be and see, I'm torn about this. Okay. I'm asking this for the sake of asking the question. I don't personally think that it is as it seems to be. There's this idea of crime being so much. Yeah. It's so overwhelming, everybody getting murdered all the time. Right. However, there have been multiple times, multiple years, where we go a whole entire month and nobody dies. Right. But if you start counting it, then it feels like you jinxing it. And so people don't mention it, right? And so we have this idea where it's like, oh, we having all these murders and this person get killed and that person get killed. And it's, yes, it is more than it was in the 90s, but we also have a population that is larger than we had in the 90s. Yeah. Right? There's multiple reasons for that. I, as a person who walk all over the country, walk all over the island. I've never had any issue like where it's like, oh, I suddenly feel unsafe because I'm in the middle of being down. I feel unsafe because I'm in the middle of Foxhill. I'm unsafe. Like, I don't feel unsafe traversing it on foot. But with that said, you have tourists who are coming in who they get the advisory, hey, don't X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Right? And then also, there's nothing stopping them from accessing the same news that we have that we access, where it's like, oh, shooting happened here or whatever, right? So how do you address that in terms of safety to make guests feel at a level of comfort? Yeah. So something that you said earlier that I'll tap back into, you said When you see gas, you saw a gas somewhere and you said, when I saw the gas, everybody in the neighborhood was like, are you okay? I don't think you're supposed to be here. Do you need help?
Right.
That's literally something that I describe. And I always tell them, like, I can drop you in a particular area and the first thing people say, are you okay? And then I have to tap back into the culture. We can grow up. We don't have children missing. No one's going to kidnap them. Automatically, I never recall my daughter. When I first started business, I was on the beach. She was with me at a certain point. She was a little bit younger, like a year younger, and she was playing too close to the water. Do you know that cars were parked and my daughter, they literally called and was like, hi, Mom, this is your kid. She's playing too close to the water. I don't know if you noticed. That's why I tap back into the culture of the people. Mm-hmm. We are very caring. We're very loving. We don't have, another thing too is I always ask the question, when we send our kids to school, they come back. We don't have the things that we know and compared to what other states or other countries deal with, that doesn't happen here. Another misconception is a lot of people think that we're like other countries where our value of our dollar is less. So you'd be like, I don't want anybody to rob me. They're giving me back the wrong money, and the monies are probably way lower. And I have to explain to them, hey, did you know that the Bahamas currency, the BSD, is the same as the USD? And they're like, no way. And then you have to be able. So those are conversations we have, right? And I always tell them, see it for yourself. And as I said, most of the time we're there with them. So that one automatically has their shoulders a little bit at ease. Mm-hmm. I notice that some of them be like, are you going to lock the door? Can I leave my bag here? And I intentionally, or sometimes unintentionally.
Like, if things over, yeah, you can unlock it.
Listen, believe it or not, but the thing is, I sometimes, especially if I have a big group, I find myself forgetting that I left my car running. It's literally running. And they'd be like, did you know your car was running?
Only because you're a taxi.
And yeah. I was like, do you know your car was running? I was like, yeah, I love to run it. I said, yeah, don't worry, no one's going to take it. And they literally say, oh, wow. And then I think that kind of gets them into the mood and the mindset as if, okay, maybe it's not as bad as we think, right? Yeah. Some people you're not going to appease regardless because they come with the idea that I'm unsafe, I'm not coming off the boat, I'm not coming off the hotel. So those people you can appease, but there are people that are curious and really want to see the island itself. And I find myself even then allowing them some space to wander around a bit, and then they'd be like looking around like, hey, Naomi, where you are? And then they find themselves a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more at ease, and they realize how people are. And as I said, things happen so much around us that they get to view a little bit, so they realize how everybody's like morning, and then believe it or not, they're not used to good mornings, they're not used to the hellos, they're not used to how can I help you. So automatically the idea of what they thought the Bahamas was all being unsafe, so for some, although most, is like washed away because they're like, you all are always smiling, you're all happy. And then, we work in the industry, so we're talking amongst each other, which makes them like so happy to see us. Like, you see a friend like, hey man, what you saying? What's going on? You're giving high fives and hugs and how's Jenny? How's your mom? When they see that, they understand it's a culture, it's a people, it's a unity. Where then I think that's when everybody
calms a bit down.
That helps them to calm down a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break before Cam throws a rock at me, right? And then we're going to finish off this conversation.
Sure.
You are listening and watching Sidebar 103 podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madeira Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at IlTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, here today with Naomi Lydia, and we are talking about culture, invariably, inevitably, one of the ends. The question that I want to ask you is, in your time as a tour guide, a tour facilitator, a tour operator, what is the most interesting thing that you've discovered about the country in that time? Or, inversely, what is the most misleading thing that you've heard somebody say? Because I could tell you, the tour operator telling the guy, well, many times you'll overhear something and be like, that's not true.
Yeah, that's not accurate.
That's not real, right? And like somebody at one point, I mean, I heard it secondhand from, I think, my uncle, where he's like, a guy was saying that the slaves built the bridge to Paradise Island.
That's interesting.
Right. And so, you know, people say stuff, right? But anyway, all right, in your time, what is the most interesting thing that you've like discovered, or you're concerned that people think that?
Well, I don't want to say what I heard. It's always a story. I can tell you that much. Sometimes, what I do is, the only way you can fix it is if you correct it. So if I hear it, I say, hey, that's not accurate. If I'm not sure, I find the information, and then when I see the person again, I make sure they know. But the most interesting thing I would have discovered, those family islands, and I haven't discovered them, right? But it's every time I go to the family island, I realize how much they don't realize that the dynamics of people are different. I'll give myself an example. I'm a Wilson. My family's from Ragged Island. So when you go to different islands, I actually was on a tour the entire time. I didn't speak, of course, it was only me and my daughter. Do you know that no one knew that I was a local? Like, no one knew. Even until tour operators. Not until we got on to, I want to say it was like Zoma or Harbor Island. I can't remember which island we were on at that particular time. But I recall them speaking in dialect, using words like, all the flat bungies today and this and that. They were cracking jokes, but they were saying it, of course, quietly and amongst themselves. And at that point, I just chuckled, and then they realized that I understood what they were saying. And then they pointed like, and then I responded when I spoke, and they was like, everybody's like, where you from? Where you live? What'd you mix with? And then I know, that was wild. And then I had to explain to them, I'm from Nassau, X, Y, and Z. And I couldn't believe, that's the reason why we started the business, believe it or not, is because a lot of people didn't understand different demographics of different islands and different people and how they look. So I think for me, that was one of the most interesting things that I have discovered, in a sense, working alongside the business and going different places, meeting different people from different parts of the island or the country itself. Then that was something I discovered that was different, if that makes sense, right? So that's one of those things that I
I understand that bit. Although for me, it's like that just feels. I'm not going to get into a linguistic conversation, but like there are many words that we think are strictly Bahamian that are not Bahamian at all. I mean, well, they are Bahamian because we use them, and other places have stopped using them as much. But you'd be surprised which words we didn't come up with. All right, so I know you didn't want to talk about the infrastructure, all right? All right. Is it your love of history that will make you say, okay, don't correct the persons, or is it just that you want persons to have, I guess, the most authentic experience? Like, what is
100% the most authentic experience. And not only the most authentic experience is, I think it's not necessary. They already come with a perception of what the Bahamas is and what the people are, right? You adding to what they think makes it 100 times worse. Because now at that point you can't tell them something differently or argue it because that was their experience. That's what happened and that's what they were told. Then me coming along saying, that's not accurate, that's not correct. This is actually the case. You can't, it's very hard to undo. It's very, very hard to undo. So.
Did you like history in school?
Not at all. I slept in half of those classes.
And now that it is a part of your business, I don't know why Cam is pumping his fist in there, all right? But now that it is a part of your business, what's the difference between then and now that makes that it appeals to you more now?
You want the political answer or the actual answer?
Both.
I got paid to do this, buddy. I got paid. I'm just kidding. But what happened is, as you said, you want to be as accurate and as honest and as transparent as you can be. So that's how I was able to dibble and dabble back into the culture. Of course, the foundation I still knew I was always interested in. And even for me, for someone that does or doesn't look like the average Bahamian in a sense, I hate to say it, but that's the case. Because I don't look like everyone else. And people always say, where you mixed in? You also have to come and fight for your lineage and your passport and say, well, my dad's from Andrews and my granddad's from Ragged. Because I had to do that, I had to tap into.
Why did you have to do that?
It was rough. It was rough. Because I had to do that all the time, I literally had to jump back in. You can't know where you're going or who you are unless you know where you came from, right? So that's how I got into tapping back into the culture, tapping back into learning, different things about different countries. What the year is, who came here first. Like that's how I was able to kind of understand or explain it best. Once I was able to tap back into that, if that makes sense.
Wait, so you're related to people from Andros?
So my dad was in Andros. My grandmother's from Andros, but my granddad is from Ragged Island.
No, that's fine. Listen, I'm not gonna force you to prove anything or anything, but I feel like Andros is for its proximity because I know that Eleuthera is like 60 miles away, depending on where you hit or where you leave from.
Nonetheless, I'm
right,
not quite
it's
sure.
close.
I'm not sure. I know
Exuma is close. Exuma is like a 45-minute flight. Eleuthera is
yes, most definitely, yeah.
And then but by boat, you can get to Andros in 2 hours or about there, right? Depending on how fast the boat is. For its proximity, I feel like it's an untapped market, all right? I've watched an episode of a show on YouTube called The Best Food Review Show. I think that's the name of it. He goes all over the world, does different stuff, right? Okay. He went to Andros. They took him crabbing. They took him hunting for wild boar. And these are experiences that I had never heard of. And it required me seeing this dude who lived in the Philippines.
Wow, okay.
He's a white American who lives in the Philippines, right? Doing these things for me to find out that this exists in the country.
And Andros, actually, another thing that if you didn't know, Andros is really popular for bone fishing.
Because they have flats.
And they have people I've met, I never forget. Of course, people always ask, where is the accent from? I'm traveling in the plane. I randomly talk to people and they say, oh, I'm the Bahamas. They say, no way. This gentleman, and you can tell he's older, he said he's been bone fishing in the Bahamas from before he had kids. Now that he has kids, his grandkids comes with him, and they have lodges, and this is something that's very popular. I think they have recently they had a show as well as a fair or seminar, something to that effect in regards to bone fishing or fishing. That's a big thing.
Yeah, but
that's a big thing.
How many Bahamians have been bone fishing before?
Yeah.
I don't know. So my final question for you is, how important do you feel it is for locals to participate in things like these tours so they can access a part of the culture that they may not ordinarily see, or that because this member of the family died, they never got to experience?
Right. Well, so important for me, so that I decided to, in business, the Bahamians, once you provide a identification, we are the only, well, for what I know, we're the only tour company currently now that allows payment plans for Bahamian guests specifically, right? We allow them to do payment plans. That's how important it is to me. I wanted to do something for Bahamians and locals to be able to experience that, because I feel as a lot of times, we get so caught up in something I hear all the time, it's nothing to do here, that's why I travel. And I'm like, the first question I ask, have you been to Exuma? No. Have you been to E13? Have you been to Andros? No. Have you been to Long Island? No. Do you know that they have this? No. And so that's the reason why I decided to, and it's another thing too, which you'll hear here first. The second phase of our business is actually going to these islands. So the intent is to have, we currently now only have E13, Harbor Island, and Exuma. Then the intent is to have tours specifically for every island, the Bahamas itself. So you heard it here first. We'll be doing that in our phase 2, which I'm really excited about, because it's so much more. It's so much more to the Bahamas than just Nassau, than the resorts, than the tours that we do now. So we wanted to do 100% more. And I'm really excited to partner with a few different airlines, partner with different tour companies, partner with locals. We can tell you about Nassau other than you. We can tell about your community about you other than you, right? The same thing is sense with people that live on these islands that have been there for decades and decades and decades,
very
right?
strong opinions about Freeport.
Well,
that's fine. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to close up. You are listening to SIDEBAR 103 podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Styling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
Welcome back to SIDEBAR 103 podcast powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and Naomi, I'm going to allow you to get the final word in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having me on this stage. I'm excited.
You're welcome.
So I'm a guest. But I'm Naomi Lydia. We are with Native Travel. If you guys want to follow us off, follow our journey, you can follow my personal socials as Naomi Lydia on most platforms. And then we have our business page, which is Travel with Natives. Native Travel. We have a destination management company. It's not only for guests, We have experiences and a lot of different events and fun things for our Bahamians. So we want y'all to get more involved, do the parasailing, take your kids, let them do jet skis, take them to see the pigs, just take them on a boat tour and a cruise. We have so much things that are available, and there's so much other things to do in the Bahamas. I want y'all to take full advantage. So follow us and connect with us and follow our journey.
All right. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. And hopefully we'll have you back to talk about stuff one day when we, figure out how to get the cameras on the
beach.
On the beach and
on the
boats. The kayaks and
yeah.
stuff. You never mentioned the transparent kayaks, which I think the people are familiar with.
Yeah, once they follow, they'll see for sure. But the clear kayak photography for those, and we just had a Bahamian guest. She celebrated her birthday Sunday. So thank you so much, Indy. We appreciate you. But yeah, we have a lot of Bahamians that do it now. Photo shoots on the beach, pictures, come out to the studio a little bit, take a picture of the cruise ships in the background. There's so much fun things to do. So yeah, let's get you guys out. Let's do it.
All right. So thank you, Naomi. And thank you for joining us once again. This has been Sidebar 103 to B podcast, powered by IlTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. True God still.
In here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
I'm Ben. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madeira Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at IlTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?